Yo, what is going on, guys? The solo showdown has returned, and what you're looking at right now is what happens if you win the solo showdown. This isn't for this showdown, that was for the previous showdown. We managed to place 44th and win V-Bucks. The top 100 placings actually managed to win V-Bucks as a prize and have the chance to compete in the summer skirmish. Solo Showdown is the best way you can test your skills in Fortnite and have the chance to compete against some of the best players in the world for hundreds and thousands of dollars. Yes, this showdown, if you complete well, you can have the chance to be invited to the summer skirmish, which is over $8 million worth of prize money in a single thing. So Solo Showdown is pretty important. Now, I managed to win the last one, and I'm on track to place in the top 100 in this one as well. Hopefully better this time. We've won most of our games, and I'm not saying all this to brag at all, because winning the solo showdown isn't everything, but I want to be passing the information on to you guys on the strategies and the things you guys can do to your gameplay to better yourself and have a chance at even placing top 100 as well. I wish you guys the best of luck. You're going to need a lot of core gameplay skill, but the strategies I'm going to give you are going to help you out as well. Because strategy is everything. I watched some of the best players in the world play the last showdown, and they didn't come close to getting as much score as me or get in the top 100. And that all came down to their strategy and how they played it out. Because solo showdown, as much as I hate to say it, is mainly about placement, although kills are more important in this one. I've managed to win most of my games, and I'm going to be sharing how I've gone about that with you guys. Now, before I get into the strategy and the tips that I'm going to give you guys, I got to mention, this is from my first gameplay, and the very first game, you probably noticed at the start of this clip that I came across two players that were working together with RPGs. Yes, they were teaming, yes, they were cheating, and I've come across it a few times in this showdown, and it even got me killed once, which was super frustrating. Now, if you are teaming, Epic will find out, because they are tracking IP addresses, and they can tell if the same people keep getting in your lobbies. So if you're working together with friends, you won't stand a chance at placing in the top 100. The thing you will stand a chance at is getting banned. So I would suggest against trying to cheat in this solo showdown, because one, it will not work, and two, I hope to God they ban every single teamer that has ever teamed in the solo showdown, because I know they're keeping a track of a lot of different statistics like IP addresses and players killed from individuals in the solo showdown. Now, just so you guys get an idea of how exactly the solo showdown works, it's based off kills and placement. Placement is huge. For first place, you get 100 points. Second place, you get 94 points. Third place, you get 91. Now, once you place out of the top 10, your points go down drastically, all the way down to 25 for dying early at 76, for example. So placement is massive. But kills are also a big deal, as it's 6 points per kill. Although I think you guys can figure out that placement is number one, and that's where my strategy comes in. Typically, I'm about a 6 KD player in Fortnite, and I win about 20% of my games, which isn't the most amazing stats in the world, but the second the solo showdown comes out, I'm a 20 KD player with a 70% win-loss, and I'm going to explain you why that is and my strategy behind it, and how I play the solo showdown differently to how I normally would. Now, starting off with the first tip is pretty basic, and that is positioning. Positioning is huge in this. This is a clip of me just farming up, and I didn't realize until the last second when I heard somebody actually in the house opposite me. So instead of pushing in there like I normally would, with a loadout like a gold pistol and an assault rifle, I have no idea what that player has. Normally I'd push him regardless because my playstyle is hyper aggressive and I don't really care what he has, and I'll challenge every gunfight. But solo showdown, this is early game, I can't afford to die, so what I do here is I back up and start playing patiently. Now, I see this player push out of the house here, so I position myself on the high ground and position myself where he can't see me and I can see him, looking for the easy cleanup kill. Now, I could give 100 examples of this, but I feel like a lot of the Fortnite players, me included normally, don't really care about positioning, and we have this mentality of if we put ourselves in our bad position, just build, bro. So we basically put ourselves in a disadvantageous position all the time in Fortnite, and simply changing our routes, not going in gullies underneath hills, and taking the high ground as much as possible is a really smart way of going about it, and something I should get in the habit of doing normally, but I've got the bad mentality of just build, bro. Now, another really good skill to have is knowing when to disengage. So you can see this gunfight I've had with this player. I see him ramping up to me, so my first instinct is to get high ground. Now, this is a very good player, because even though I took the high ground off him, he manages to pyramid and try trap me. Now, I did manage to break out in time, but now another player starts shooting at me, so instantly I'm like, nope. I've got a guy underneath me that's a decent player, and I've got a third guy that's come along that wants a piece of this pie. So the smartest thing I can do in this situation is say, nope, I'm out. And that's me staying alive and leaving them to battle it out. That situation, where it does seem bitchy and I don't normally do, is definitely the right decision in some scenarios. I'm low on health, it's still early game, I don't want to get a bad placing, and I'm sandwiched between players. So I feel like I made the right play. Now, I just threw this clip in here as well, because I feel like some people are playing on different servers. That guy literally lagged about 20 feet away, but people have the idea if they change their servers, they'll have a chance of winning the solo showdown. It doesn't work like that. Epic knows what region you're from. Changing your server will not help you in the solo showdown, because there are winners for every single region. Except NA East and NA West are the one region, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know. Now, another big tip for the Fortnite solo showdown is never frigging run out of materials, as you managed to see me do here. I am in an engagement with a player with 0 mats late game. Now, it turns out this is a Twitch streamer and a high skill player. I think he's got something like a 10 KD, a really good player, and I've got 0 mats in a gunfight with him. This is the only time out of all of my games that I ran out of materials. I spent a lot of the time farming, and if I didn't have 999 wood and a decent amount of brick, I wasn't happy with my materials. Because there's a lot of very high talented players in the solo showdown, and running out of materials, I'm like basically a potato in this engagement. I want to get this win, I want to get these points, but literally this guy's just building above my head, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can win most of my build fights, but sitting here like a couch potato, hoping he jumps down, isn't really the best situation to put yourself in. So if you guys aren't farming materials in the solo showdown, you're doing something wrong. Now, I managed to take this fight with this guy from the low ground, hitting most of my shots, and somehow ended up coming out on top in this engagement. Now, this player that I'm actually up against, fun fact, managed to place just outside of the top 100 in the last showdown. So this was like a battle against a very skilled player, and that's pretty normal in the solo showdown because there is skill-based matchmaking. I'm sure you guys have noticed Fortnite has stated themselves that they hand select the opponents, i.e. you're going up against opponents of your own skill level. So expect some tough matches if you're in the higher tier of players. Now, let's talk a little bit about my loadout and what I choose to use in the solo showdown. A lot of it comes down to personal preference, but I'm going to explain to you my loadout and why I choose it. And it basically always consists of some sort of explosive, and that's because in the meta of the solo showdown, you're going to come across so many people building and so many people in towers that is literally one of the most amazing things to have is some explosives. You see me rocking out with a double grenade launcher, which is a little bit ridiculous, I'm not going to lie, but honestly, it is one of the most overpowered ways to get somebody out of a base and guarantee yourself a kill. But also, you will see me from the time to time pick up the sniper, but you are taking a risk with the sniper because it's really loud. You can hear the thing halfway across the map, so you're giving your position off, and when you're sniping, it increases your chances of being sniped. Now, in all of those clips, you see me using the tactical shotgun. And not because it's the best shotgun in the game, but simply because it gives you an extra inventory slot. Now, I did use the pump or the heavy shotgun from time to time, but the reason I wasn't using it all the time is simply because you get one less inventory slot when using them shotguns. Because if you're running the heavy or the pump, you're going to want to back up SMG, LMG, or just another up-close weapon that can shred. Because the pump by itself isn't that great, but with attack by itself, you can have some attacking power, and it frees up a slot for an explosive, a sniper, or an extra heal, which is why I chose the tac shotgun. Now, for one of the most important tips, and that is circle positioning, which is slightly different to positioning we talked about earlier, and that's setting up in the next circle. Circles work differently now, and they sometimes push out of the zone, which you're actually going to see in this 1v1 fight I have with this guy, because this is a long fight. This guy was a high talented player, and he gave me a run for my money. As you can see here, I'm set up nicely in the circle. He's building up and getting to the high ground and manages to do some serious amount of damage to me and shoot me down from my build. He then jump pads over to me, putting me in a bad position here because I want to heal up. I pretty much have to give this guy the high ground in this gunfight after messing up one of my staircases, which is a common mistake everybody makes. But it gives me time to heal up as I build down, and then what I'm doing here is repositioning. You can see where the circle is outside of the zone. I decided this was the perfect time to reposition and set up in the next zone where this guy is still building above my head. Little bit of overbuild there, but I've positioned myself now somewhere where he has to come to me, as the zone will push outside of the circle. So being the first one to move is a massive advantage in the gunfight. As you can see here, I decided to build up. Knowing this guy is a skilled player, I want to have the high ground in this next gunfight, but he doesn't make it easy for me. He loves spraying down my builds, and I have to reposition as best as I can here to engage. But he's doing a great job of defensive building, and as you can see by the mini-map right there, the zone has moved again. So what I decided to do is be the first one into the next zone, as this circle gets pretty intense. So you want to be positioned as early as possible, which is what I'm doing and what he's lacking at doing, giving me the advantage. So as I build up here, I'm in the next zone and he's going to have to come over. I use the jump pad to get the high ground. He shoots me down. This is just like the most intense fight you've ever seen. I managed to block his build off as he tries to take high ground back off me. But seeing as I had zone advantage, he's the one that had to make the play, giving me the slight advantage in this gunfight. As it goes down, I'm finally the one spraying his walls down. He tries build up. The zone pressure is coming in. I have to move yet again into the next circle. And this is where it all goes down. I finally managed to get the advantage. He comes soaring in at me from the jump pad himself, and I managed to do some serious damage there. So I know this guy is weak and is forced to keep moving by the zone because he was too slow at moving into it, and we managed to get the victory royale. I'm trying to break it down there, but there was a lot of pre-initial moving and being one step ahead of my enemy, and that is the reason I came out on top and won that game. Now, let's talk a little bit about landing locations. It's all down to what you personally decide, but my strategy is to never jump early. There's a bunch of spots around the map that are low-key, and they're my favorites. I don't go to named locations, seeing as I don't want to be overwhelmed by players, and I never want to die without a gun. It happened once in this showdown, and I don't want it to happen again. Dying without a weapon is the worst thing possible. So landing in unnamed locations that are all around the map are some of the best strategies to get early game loot and ensure you have a loadout to win the game. Now, this is one of my strategies that I use, which is super powerful in Season 5, and that is by going to the Lucky Landing Rift location. There's possibility of 3 chests in this location. I sort of screwed myself up there and didn't land up top, but I managed to get the chests here, and then straight after I get these chests, I rift over directly to another 3 possible chest spawn location, which is a total of 6 chests early game. Now, there's plenty of unnamed locations that I'm sure you guys are aware of and that have personal favorites yourself, but I thought I'd share this one with you, seeing as dying early is literally the worst, and dying without a weapon, nothing sucks more. Right, one of the final tips is early game positioning. Now, you can see I'm having a look at the map here as I'm on my rift, and I'm choosing where to go. Now, to the left of the map or to the very back would be the best location to go in that situation, seeing as I want to limit my engagements early game. Late game is the best chance for me to start going slay mode, but mid and early game, I try to play a bit more careful and there's going to be people all around the map. You're never guaranteed to be safe and not get surrounded by enemies, but positioning yourself in areas where it's less chance of being populated is the best strategy. I'm used to doing the complete opposite and going slay mode and choosing the high populated areas, but in the solo showdown, I play entirely differently. Hopefully some of you guys learn a thing or two, whether for this showdown or just for winning in general. Now, every playstyle is acceptable in Fortnite. Sometimes I get triggered by campers, but the solo showdown is about who's the best at winning, and playing safe and using strategy to your advantage is the best way, and I understand that. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this and find it factual, don't forget to subscribe and titty smack the like button, as it does help out the video. Peace out, bros. Have a wonderful day.